With me now, speaking of the Humane Society, is someone I am delighted to have on the comfy couch. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jennifer Bennett. You are the Chief Veterinarian Officer for our beloved Humane Society for Tacoma, Pierce County. Welcome to Cityline.
Thank you. Good morning.
Dr. Bennett, I feel like I already know you because you know how we feel about the Humane Society here at Cityline. If our four-legged friends are not front and center, we're not happy. So tell us about, first off, I feel like I know you because every week I get to peek into the Humane Society. And I'm also an avid follower online, and there's always something wonderful happening or a new message that we need to think about as community pet partners. This morning, we're going to talk about something that's very exciting, and that is the efforts to raise funds for the Mobile Veterinary Unit. Okay, so we're in the green room, and I said to you, how long has it been since we have had a mobile veterinarian unit in Tacoma and even Pierce County? And you knew.
Well, as far as we know, there is not a currently dedicated unit, and there's a group here and there that will come down and have their services in the area, but we're hoping to be the first one with full-time dedicated mobile unit services.
I love this. Okay, so give us some of the detail because I can just see all of us peeling off these questions. So what are the features of this unit? Put on that GoPro and tell me what's going to happen in that unit.
Well, it's going to look like an RV. The one we've selected is about 26 feet long. So if you step inside, you're going to see that it's going to have different regions for the services, an exam area. It's going to have 17 kennels and cages for the animals pre and post recovery, and then it's going to have a separate surgery room section in the back with a table, lights, the equipment that's needed to do surgery. So it's really fully outfitted to be a hospital on wheels.
Oh, I love that. We've got some great photos here, and here's, of course, one of our doctors who. Oh, look at this precious cat.
You can see the inside here,
it's
fully
beautiful.
equipped. There is an exam table in there. There's an autoclave you can see sitting on the counter, where we sterilize instruments for the surgeries. You can see the holding areas where animals are kept quiet to recover. And really everything you need. There's the surgery suite in the back with the anesthesia machine, oxygen concentrator, everything set up to be fully mobile.
Oh, look at that. Okay, this is so impressive. It's so clean. It's so bright. It's so new. Wow, these pictures make me want to just find it and crawl inside and say, okay, people. Oh, and of course, this is the reason why we have this. So, Dr. Bennett, people may say, well, if we haven't had one for 20 some odd years, you know, does it really serve the challenges that the shelter will face? So how will it help solve those challenges, and what are those challenges?
Right. Well, it really is about access to care, which we know is a struggle for many in our community and nationwide as well. And we want to be part of the solution. So we ourselves are in a situation where our building has not kept up with our needs and the needs of the community. Our space is limited. We are fully staffed, very thankfully, in the veterinary area, but even then, we still have an increased demand for services. So the mobile unit allows us to literally expand our walls and to be able to have overflow surgery space, to be able to perform vaccine clinics and wellness clinics, to do more surgeries in the unit, and reduce that transportation barrier by being mobile and going directly to where the services are needed.
That is the magic phrase. Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, you as in Dr. Bennett and the administrative team and all the volunteers and all the amazing people we can't get on this couch. Humane Society does an amazing job of communicating when they need help, and we're going to talk about that here in just a few seconds. But this mobile unit will certainly increase the visibility and help people understand that it's more than just Pet of the Week, it's more than just a video, it's more than just a plea for help. We have to lower barriers so we can help those pets that are out there that live on that street with their owners. So one of the questions that is on here, and I'm baffled by it, and I can't wait to ask it. What's a community cat? Is that like the Cat King's books? What is that?
It's a term that we use to mean something that may be a little different than most people are used to,
Okay.
but in the animal welfare world, a community cat is simply that. It's a cat that lives in the community that is not necessarily friendly or feral. It can be either, which surprises people often.
Yeah.
And it lives in a community. It's generally cared for or overseen by folks that are in the area that know of the cats and how their condition is. A lot of times there are caretakers who are feeding for them. So we call all of those cats community cats. They're not owned, but they live in our community with us and among us.
I love that. Now my brain is going back to where I was 4 weeks ago in Italy. In Rome, they have a community cat garden amongst
wonderful.
all of these ruins. And these cats just lay in the sun all day. And I thought, okay, there's the definition of community cat. So
Right.
when we look at the initials, T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, R as in Romeo, what is TNR?
That is a common acronym we use in this industry to describe what we're doing service-wise for community cats.
Okay.
So it stands for trap, neuter, release.
Okay.
So trapping is the temporary capture safely so that we can evaluate them. N would be the neuter. That's a generic term for spaying or neutering to sterilize them. And then return is the important part, or sometimes it means release, and it just simply means to put them back to where they are living from.
Yes.
And put them back in the community where they've already know where their resources are. They already have family units and caretakers.
So what role will this mobile unit play? Because like even coming to work today, I looked over to my right and there was this little orange cat and I'm like, oh, orange cat, you were so beautiful. And this is a cat that lives in our neighborhood. So if I were to take that cat, tell me what I would do with it, or how would I get this cat into you so it remains healthy?
Well, I'm glad you asked because there's a couple things I'd want you to do first. The first thing is I'd want you to look and see if you can see if that little kitty has an ear tip. So when we have had cats go through the TNR program, it's universally common to have just a teeny bit of the ear tip removed.
Yes.
So that you know it's already been serviced and you don't have to do anything, you don't have to worry about it unless it looks like it's not healthy. So that's the universal tip that we want people to look for. Literally a tip. And then the other thing is that our mobile unit will first and foremost be in favor of us starting a TNR program that we call a targeted TNR program.
Okay.
And targeted means that we use community volunteers and we use staff to help identify and create groups of interest where we know cats are living and where we can make the biggest amount of difference. So we actually will use the mobile unit to go to those areas to target those particular cat community colonies and help reduce their populations, rather than just have random ones come into the shelter or have people just pick up the ones they see.
Right, and this of course is one of our community cats right here, it looks like. So I love this because you have just given me such a clarity of how that operation will work, because we certainly want to make sure that I'm not picking up a cat that has just wandered like cats do and has a home 4 blocks away that I didn't know about, but wanted to hang out in someone's catnip garden.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the message that most people are familiar with, if you find something, bring it to the shelter, is really changing. In fact, these days, we'd rather you get some resources through contacting us first, and we can help you find ways to try and find where that cat or dog lives. Most of the time, it's within just a few 100 feet of where they're being cared for.
Absolutely. So how will this impact animals that are already in the shelter or are entering that shelter? Will it be a deterrent? Will they be held separately in a different area, or will they get any pre-care, hoping that their time in the shelter will be lessened?
Well, for community cats, we really want to avoid them coming to the shelter at all.
There
So
we
the
go.
mobile unit really allows us to even remove the stress of transportation for them.
Okay.
Ideally, we go right close to where the colonies are. We do the trap, neuter, release. They are then back in their community within hours, and we're not having any stress of transport. So that gets removed from the equation. And for animals that are already in the shelter, allowing us to expand our capacity to do additional surgery days or have additional recovery hours in a mobile unit, that just expands our virtual walls for the animals already in the shelter.
Absolutely. So, as I said, I am and everybody here at TV Tacoma, we are a Humane Society, just nuts about
Glad to hear it.
Oh my gosh. So I'm always checking socials, and speaking of lessening the pressure on the actual shelter itself, overcapacity, the shelter had a very successful adoption program this past weekend, just due to that overcrowding that you just so beautifully explained to us. How did it go, and how is the shelter doing capacity-wise now?
Yes, we are very blessed to have a community that's very supportive. And I have always told my colleagues that the day the community stops showing up to adopt animals is the day I'm going to be worried.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things we deal with on a daily basis to try and keep our population balanced. Just as they go out, they come back in. But this event was tremendous for us. We adopted out over 270 animals in our adoption window, and it was amongst our top 10 adoption days ever in the history of the Humane Society. So it was amazing turnout.
Oh my gosh. And if those numbers don't impress you, go to the website and watch the GoPro that somebody did
Yes.
with all of the before and afters of the kennels. It is, if you think our community doesn't love dogs and cats and little four-legged critters, think again. Okay, so how can we help the shelter bring this much needed support and funding?
Well, the Mobile Veterinary Unit is our main focus right now to help us expand these services. And it's not just financial, but it's the transportation and access to care that we talked about. That mobile unit costs over $300,000, so it's not an inexpensive venture. We are very thankful to have partnered with some of our local community members. The Ruth Foundation and the Puyallup Tribe has already donated to this.
Yay!
So we've got a great start, but we need our community to help us finish that goal and to bring us across the finish line. We have a unit on order that we are expecting to take delivery of in November. So very exciting. We're already getting to pick out the finishes for it. And if folks want to help contribute to this effort in their community, definitely head to our website, thehumanesociety.org, and there's links there to donate.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you to you and to everybody at the Tacoma Pierce County Humane Society, the volunteers, for just having hearts of gold, as my grandmother would say, and loving these four-legged angels. And please, I want you to park that mobile van out here, and we're going to be the first ones to go inside. Deal?
That sounds amazing.
All right. Thank you so much, and I want to have you back on sooner than later.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure.
Oh, all right. Looks like the Cityline Comfort Cafe, we have a little bit of an Alyssa and a Chris action going on over there. They're going to make their way to the comfy couch and talk about home in Tacoma in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.